The night was heavy with tension as the Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea, their escape seemingly blocked by the vast waters stretching before them. Behind them, the thunder of approaching hooves and the clatter of chariot wheels filled the air. Pharaoh's army was closing in, their torches flickering like fireflies in the darkness. Panic surged through the crowd as mothers clutched their children, and the elderly leaned on their staffs, weary from the journey. Cries of fear echoed among them. "Why did you bring us out of Egypt only to die here in the wilderness?" The people cried out to Moses, "It would have been better for us to remain as slaves than to perish here." Moses, though burdened with the responsibility of leading this great multitude, stood firm. He lifted his staff high and called out above the fear and doubt, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord. The Egyptians you see today you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Yet, as the army drew closer, even Moses turned his heart toward God in silent prayer. And the Lord answered him, "Why do you cry out to me? Tell the Israelites to move forward. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that they may go through on dry ground." With renewed faith, Moses obeyed. He stepped forward and stretched out his hand over the churning sea. A powerful wind, unlike anything they had ever felt before, howled through the air. The waters trembled and began to recede, parting into towering walls on either side. The seabed, once covered by the deep, became solid ground. A miraculous path had been carved through the sea. The Israelites hesitated for only a moment, staring in awe at the impossible sight before them. Then, with faith in their hearts, they stepped forward. Families walked hand in hand, leading their livestock and carts through the passage. The sounds of the storm and rushing winds filled their ears, but they pressed on, knowing that the Lord himself was guiding them. Behind them, Pharaoh's army reached the shoreline. When they saw the path through the sea, they did not hesitate. With arrogance and confidence in their own might, they charged forward in pursuit. Chariots rattled over the seabed, the hooves of their horses kicking up sand. But suddenly, chaos erupted among them. Wheels came loose, horses reared in fear, and confusion spread through the ranks. The mighty Egyptian army, once so sure of its victory, found itself trapped in a battle against the unseen hand of God. Then, as the last Israelite stepped onto the other side of the shore, the Lord spoke once more to Moses. "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians." With solemn authority, Moses raised his hand once more. At that moment, the towering walls of water came crashing down. A deafening roar filled the air as the mighty sea reclaimed its place, swallowing the Egyptian chariots, soldiers, and horses. The mighty army that had oppressed Israel for centuries was no more. Not one of them survived. As the sun rose over the waters, the Israelites stood in silence, gazing at the sea that had been their path to freedom. Then, a great cry of joy erupted among them. They lifted their voices in praise, singing of the Lord's power and faithfulness. Moses' sister, Miriam, took a tambourine and led the women in song and dance. "Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and its rider he has hurled into the sea." That day, the Israelites learned a lesson they would carry with them forever. When all seems lost, when fear grips the heart, And when the enemy is closing in, the Lord makes a way where there is none. The parting of the Red Sea was not just a miracle of deliverance. It was a declaration that the God of Israel reigns supreme over all the earth, and no power can stand against him. And so, the journey continued, not as slaves, but as a free people, led by the hand of the Almighty toward the land he had promised them.